In the shadow of Skull Canyon, a hero was born out of blood, betrayal, and an unbreakable will. Her name was Angie Miller, and this is her story. Angie was no stranger to hard work. A seamstress by trade, her days were filled with the rhythm of needle and thread. But today, the air buzzed with excitement in the African-American town of Nubia Grove. It was her wedding day, a day of love, joy, and new beginnings with Otis Williams. Little did Angie know, this day would mark the start of a journey that would test every ounce of her strength. Crimson Ridge had long been a source of fear for the neighboring towns. The miners who lived there were men hardened by the cruel life of the desert. When their own town fell into ruin, they cast their greed-filled eyes on the thriving settlement of Nubia Grove. The raid came without warning. Angie and her neighbors were caught in a storm of chaos and violence. The miners showed no mercy. They tore through the town, killing the men and stealing away every woman they could find. But Angie Miller was no ordinary woman. While the others wept in fear, Angie's mind raced. She knew she couldn't let this stand. As the wagons rumbled through Skull Canyon, Angie vowed to escape, and she would stop at nothing to free her people. Under the cover of darkness, Angie made her move. With a combination of cunning and courage, she slipped free of her bonds and vanished into the unforgiving wilderness. Alone in the desert, Angie could have run far away, leaving the horrors of Crimson Ridge behind. But she didn't. Instead, she returned, armed with nothing but her wit, her resourcefulness, and an unshakable resolve. Angie was determined to rescue the women, no matter the cost. The miners had underestimated her. Angie used the terrain to her advantage, setting traps and picking off her enemies one by one. With every victory, she grew bolder, freeing captive women and rallying them to fight back. By the time the miners realized what was happening, it was too late. Angie and her newfound allies turned the tide, launching a full-scale revolt. What had started as a desperate escape became an unstoppable rebellion. In the end, Angie stood victorious. Skull Canyon, once a place of despair, was now a symbol of resilience. The women returned to Nubia Grove, battered but unbroken. And Angie? She became a legend, a name whispered with reverence and awe across the West. Angie Miller's story is one of courage in the face of unimaginable odds. It's a reminder that heroes aren't born, they're made by the choices they make when everything is on the line. And so, the bride of Skull Canyon carved her name into history, not as a victim, but as a warrior. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this tale of grit and glory, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more stories of the untamed West.